Hey guys, if you're enjoying the content that I'm making, please click that subscribe button. Also remember to click that bell button and make sure to tick that box to send all notifications so you don't miss out on any videos. With that in mind, let's get on with the video. What's up guys, welcome to Munchkins Gaming, where we take your gaming to the next level. This is Munchkins logging in to bring you another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video. And in this video we're going to be talking about the Magic's CHASM Rising event, which is a level 50 fight that you have to get a perfect score in order for you to unlock the power in Magic's CHASM Rising event. Now technically this is the third video of this series, since I've actually already released a video guide on Power in Magic's CHASM Rising event. But like I said in my previous video, I will actually do a much in-depth analysis on that fight, so I don't know whether I'll still leave that video up or actually put it in private, and so people can actually just go on the in-depth analysis, and they probably get more of a fair idea on how to get that 32,000 points. But in the meantime, let's get on with this video by starting off with our general tips and guide. The first tip is obviously to try and limit your ability usage. This is going to be 5 waves long, and so you need to have enough of your abilities to use on the last boss, which is normally the hardest one. So just like I said previously, this is knowing when to be aggressive and when to hold off on your abilities. Next up is obviously try to bring in the boosted characters such as Shantoro and Terra. Now I didn't include all the other boosted characters, mainly the reason being that these are the only 2 boosted characters that are magic based characters. The others will actually, even though they have boosted stats, will actually hold you back into clearing this fight. So just be a little bit careful with bringing in a boosted characters. These are the only 2 that you can bring. Now my next tip is bringing magic based characters obviously in this fight. Papalimo, Vanille, Terra, and Hope do a pretty good job in this fight. I haven't actually used Terra, but I do believe her attacks are magic based, so she will probably do a much better job here than the other 3. Vanille is definitely a good choice, just for the reason that she can debuff the Berserk ability of the Berserker armor, and Papalimo is probably the best magic based DPS, and Hope is there for your buffs for your team. You can also bring pseudo melee characters like Vaughn or Ash, but just be careful, because if they run out of abilities, you can't exactly rely on their normal attacks. Vaughn is probably a much better choice as a support character. And speaking of support characters, my next tip is basically for you to bring in a character to have good synergy with your team. But honestly speaking, the best ones out there to take is going to be Vaughn or Papalimo, because they do give you the best DPS out of all the magic based characters. Bringing Terra needs a little bit of setup, and Vanille can also be a good choice to bring as a support, because you really only need Vanille at the end of the fight. Basically, when the Berserker armor uses his Berserk ability, this is probably the best place for Vanille to actually be used. Now as you guys can see, I actually brought Vanille here in my team, but it's not necessary until the end of the fight, well, on the last wave. And to be honest, you can skip out on Vanille and probably just DPS down the last boss. If you are struggling with some HP regen and taking a lot of damage, you can definitely bring Aiko, Aerith, and yes, you can bring Penelo as well. And Those are your best HP regen characters. And finally, for my last tip for you guys is to obviously bring Ifrit as your summon. Now the Heretic Berserker armor actually has a few weaknesses, and it is earth, wind, and darkness abilities, and you can take advantage of bringing in yourself if you want to, and that is another source of HP regen. But honestly, Ifrit is probably the best choice here, since she will, or he will, be the one who's giving you the extra boost in DPS. So with the general tips out of the way, let's go ahead and do this fight wave by wave. Okay, so for the first wave, we are going to be facing off against a Heretic Desert Sahagin and a Heretic Thunder Flan. This fight is going to depend on which team you bring. If you bring a lot of DPS sort of base magic based characters such as Terra and Papalimo, then you'll just have to burn them down. If you have a lot of Brave Battery like what I have here, then obviously you'll have some use your Brave Battery skills and then use your HP attack. Honestly speaking, the only thing that's annoying here is the Desert Sahagin, because he can inflict blind, which is going to waste one of your turns, as you guys have seen there. But otherwise, they should go down after about 2 of your max HP attacks, and you shouldn't have any problems in this particular fight. Now the next set of wave is going to be, you're going to be facing off 2 Desert Sahagin, Heretic Desert Sahagin, sorry. And again, the only thing that's annoying here is that they can inflict blind, but if you have Aiko, and especially if you have her 35 CP weapon, you can probably just use Smite and sort of just kill one of them, and then break one of the other ones later on. It's up to you guys what you want to do in these particular ones. I mean, they aren't, again, that particularly hard, especially if you have max limit broken most of your characters. The only reason why I can't 2-shot them with my HP attack is because I haven't done so. So I do believe that if you do have max limit break weapons, that you should be able to 2-shot them with a max HP attack. But if not, then you probably have to do with just the about 3 HP attacks before they fall. But otherwise, there shouldn't be any problem for you guys, and hopefully we can get on to the third one without any problems. So the third wave is basically a mini boss of sorts, and we're going to face off against a Heretic Iron Giant. Now the Iron Giant is nothing that we haven't faced before. I mean, we've seen a lot of the Iron Giant, so I won't be going through a lot of his abilities, but he definitely has a lot of HP. Just one thing to note, that the Heretic version is actually weak to magic based attacks. But what I mean by this is going to be like just the normal attacks or the non-elemental attacks, magic attacks. So you do have to just be a little bit careful in terms of the leaping swing when it's going to come out. Usually when it recovers its brave, and that's when it uses its leaping swing. But other than that, you should be fine, and this fight is just going to drag you a little bit longer, but nothing too exciting. So let's get on with the fourth wave. In the fourth wave, you are faced off again with 2 of the Heretic Desert Sahagin, and the strategy remains the same. It's up to you guys whether you want to use some abilities or not, but basically you just have to take this down. And so I don't want to waste any more time, and let's get on with the final wave. Alright, so once you reach the final wave, we're gonna be facing off against the Heretic Berserker armor. If you guys have been following me, this has been my bane of existence way back on the version 1.0, I suppose, of the Heretic quest. I'm only calling this version 2.0, is the only reason why is this is my second set of videos of the same title. So in order for the title to be a little bit different, and people will know which which fight they're picking, or which one's the new one, I suppose. Then they should pick the 2.0 version. And in this fight, I didn't really have much problem, since like I said, I did take Vaughn as one of my support, and he does a pretty good amount of DPS damage, especially if you've used Red Spiral and obviously spam White Whirl. You won't be having any sort of problem in this fight, because like I said earlier, the Berserker armor is actually weak to wind based attack, so White Whirl will do just that, and it'll do a holy damage at the same time after your third use, and it does a ton of damage. And I guess if you do have Vaughn there, it makes this fight a lot easier. So that's all I can say, really. It's just pile on, use your summon and pile on the damage. And that's it for this video. Remember to click like, subscribe, and share this video if you find it helpful at all. As always, I'd like to hear from you guys. Which team did you use to beat this fight? And make sure to follow me on Facebook and on Twitter. This is Munchkins logging off, and I'll see you guys in the next level.